Into the chat bar for the stream that is actually live right now.
Church intro video. Church intro video. Church intro video. Church intro video. What's up, church intro video? What's up, church intro video?
Hello, everybody.
I got 2 messages. Just start.
I got 2 looks. That's it.
Groggy's on top of it tonight. Groggy's sending me a
Is he?
Discord message at 6:30 exactly. No stream question mark?
Nice. Oh, 6:30 exactly.
And then he's like, I was like, I just started it. He's like, yeah, I'm there. I'm like, whoa.
Oh, Groggy. Gotta keep Nooms on his toes.
Oh, Mr. Groggy. Oh, Mr. Groggy. Oh, my little Groggy. No, no. Oh, you just got home. I thought you said I'm just going home. I thought you were saying because I started singing your theme song that you were going to leave us, and I got sad. I take it you had to work today, Mr. Groggy? Yes, he did. I'm glad you were looking forward to this. I was looking forward to this today. Biggs is here.
Yeah, he is.
Now I've just got to get this many people on my normal streams, and I could become an affiliate. I gotta have 4 people consistently. Well, 4 people average viewership across all of our stuff. Gotta get it built more.
I should probably turn on my audio recording, huh?
You should. Mr. Groggy,
Yeah.
you can't miss my beautiful face. You just saw my beautiful face yesterday. And it's not that beautiful. It ain't that much to miss. Right now, all you're seeing is numbers. Phoenix is here.
What's up, Phoenix?
She said yo yo yo, which is
I saw.
disheartening.
I thought it was fun. Yeah, I would. Get off your phone, man. You're creating dead space in the time thing while I'm trying to type.
You're not talking either. I was looking at stuff. I'm doing very important business stuff. With
Very important things.
very important things. The intro video's going right now.
I'm doing the very important stuff. Don't judge
Just
me.
intro video. We don't have to talk during the whole intro video.
Why? Why don't we have to talk in the whole intro video?
Because it's the church intro video. Church intro. See,
video.
now I'm getting the feedback again from you.
From me?
From my voice. My voice coming through over there.
Well, maybe if you didn't talk so loud.
Maybe if I didn't talk so... Okay.
I'll turn you down so. Alright, I've got you down to 75% of normal.
Okay. Maybe if you didn't have me turned up to 10,000%, it wouldn't be a problem.
I had you at 95%.
I actually have to turn you down during this also, just because it actually feedbacks from my head to the microphone.
Well, I mean, tell me that I can turn down my microphone.
I don't need you to turn down your microphone for them. I turn it down for
you
me.
need to turn... Obviously, we need to turn down my microphone because it's picking you up in my ears.
Well, oh, I forgot to hit buttons. Huh, we're live.
Oh, we're live?
We're
Okay,
live.
okay.
We had like 2 seconds of dead space.
I
I
got
am not
this.
on top of
I
clicking
got
my
this.
buttons tonight.
I got this. You ready?
Yeah,
You ready?
I'm ready.
Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 66 of the Berean Manifesto. Faith, Hope, and Love for the Modern Christian. I'm Pastor Bill, and I'm 67.
Yeah, you want to
Episode
restart
67.
that? You want to restart that?
Hello and
You want to restart that?
welcome. You done?
Okay, now I'm done.
Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 67. Hello and welcome to Season 3, Episode 67 of the Berean Manifesto. Faith, Hope, and Love for the Modern Christian. I'm Pastor Bill, and I have brand new teeth tonight, which are awesome. And I'm joined by Pastor Nooms. So if I sound funny on some of the things that I'm saying, like all of these S's that are coming out, then that's why. It's because I have new teeth in and I'm having to relearn how to talk with my now permanent dentures. Phoenix asks if I'm good. I'm not good today. All day I've been having trouble. What was it that you said earlier that I did tried to repeat and just butchered the whole statement? He's having a heart attack over here.
I'm trying to breathe.
I just kept restarting the intro. I kept getting it wrong. Not that you get to hear that when you listen to the podcast, but if you won't join us live, we record this live on Sunday nights at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, and you can join us live on Facebook,
Just punch the mic.
YouTube,
It's all good.
And I'll be right back.
All right, y'all. Hi. How you doing? How you doing? Oh, Zayd. Oh, hey, Zadie.
You know, Facebook and YouTube and Twitch and all that. And
What are you doing?
I spilt my monster.
Did you lose your mind? What?
Oh, I went to get a towel to clean up the spilling monster.
I went to get a towel.
I went to get a towel.
I needed a towel. Clean up all my face.
Clean up all my desk.
So, my week was pretty good.
Oh yeah, how was your week, Pastor News?
I worked a bunch. We played a lot of games.
We streamed a lot this week, didn't we?
Streamed a lot this week, which is great.
Good for the algorithms or whatever.
Well, so.
So good.
It's we need to get in order to
the towel.
In order to build our viewership and getting people into the Twitch more, we have to get to affiliate status, which is what our current goal is. And we need like 6 more people to watch. 6 more people to subscribe, like follow us. Not subscribe, but follow us. And then we need an average viewership across the last certain amount of video of over 4 viewers, and our average is around at last I looked like 0.52. So in order to grow that platform, we do have to I've got to start doing a little more crying. Yes, last rolling 30 days. Groggy is correct. So we've got to get that kind. I got to start just begging people to watch.
I'm begging, please.
Vander, who goes by Vanderwatt on Twitch, has been trying to log into most of our stuff to watch, and we've got several other people who have been on and off, but I've just got to put it out there more. We just got so we can build that gaming with the pastor's outreach, so we can try to. Once you get affiliate, that's when you start getting into some of the actual algorithms and drop downs and all that kind of stuff. So
I'd say the church just needs to invest in some advertising for this ministry, but I think the church has invested enough into this ministry over the past year.
Yeah.
And so we won't be doing that anytime soon.
It's mainly I just got to hit our Discords, the Discord servers we're members of. We've got to hit our friends. We've got to
Please don't be hitting my friends.
only when they ask nicely.
Oh. Oh my. That reminds me of something that happened in the pilot of the show Preacher. That's inappropriate for us to talk about right now.
Pretty much all of the show Preacher is inappropriate for us
that's
to talk
why we're going to talk about it. So, this little boy comes to Preacher and he's like, my daddy's hurting my mama. And I need you to go talk to my mama and help her. And the preacher goes to talk to the mama, and the preacher's like, I hear your husband's, hurting you, hitting you, tying you up. And she goes on, oh yeah, he does this, he does that. And he's like, well, let's get you out of this. And she's like, but I like it.
No kink shaming, Preacher. Is that what you're saying? That Preacher was kink shaming?
Well, he didn't know that that's what was going on. He thought it was abuse. Like, straight up abuse.
And that's something we should always stand against. So
yes, we should. But that's not what the situation was. But from the viewpoint of the little boy, he didn't know. He thought his mama was being abused, and he needed to help his mama.
There are definitely some issues with... Why am I on my phone again?
I have no idea why you're on your phone.
Why am I doing... Sorry.
I started talking, you immediately picked up your phone and started tapping away.
I did. There definitely is some of those types of issues where it's children's do not always understand parental dynamics.
Right.
And sometimes it's really funny, and other times it can, cause issues.
Yeah, it can cause issues. So. Yeah, that reminded me of that. If you're a sensitive person and you can't just let a story be what it is outside of your religious beliefs, and you get offended easily, then Preacher's not the show for you. But if you enjoy just watching a story and letting the story build its own universe and taking it for what it is, then you might enjoy it. I enjoy the show Preacher. It's not for everybody.
I forgot about the show Preacher after the first season, which is really, really funny because the first season is actually not canon.
No, but it's the best season that they've come out with.
Well,
in the whole show.
Well, the rest of it is all based on a comic book.
I know the rest of it's based off the comic book, yeah. But that first season's the best part of the whole story.
Which is funny because they just came up with it because they didn't want, and I think this is a really cool thought process. They didn't want to ruin if they did it bad, if it wasn't well received, they didn't want to ruin the comic book to where no one else could ever tell the story. So they were like, let's start off with just a similar type of, let's explain how the characters got to where the story starts. And I have heard several times that it is actually the best of it, which is partially why I've never gone in and watched it. But the vampire is my favorite character.
It picks steam back up again, and starts getting good again. But it takes it a while to get good again. So anyway,
how was your week? Oh,
goodish. My week was goodish. I streamed a lot.
We did.
Applied for some jobs that I'll probably never hear back from the people about. Every probably 100 applications I put in, I probably get 2 responses, both of no, and the rest just kind of ignore me. So, we'll see.
Yeah, The job market is so weird right now.
Everybody's hiring for manual labor.
Yeah.
I can't do manual labor.
Mm-mm.
All the offices are hiring jobs. Not the ones that are posting jobs aren't hiring because I've applied to those. Anyway,
Yeah.
moving on. So it's time for getting to know the pastors, and it is my week's full of card, and I didn't prepare my card. Mainly because I have a hard time resisting the urge to cheat. Because I like spoilers. So I have a hard time resisting that urge. And so I intentionally don't pull it out ahead of time because, let's be honest, I would look. Here we go. What is your most treasured possession? When I got to most treasured, I thought I was going to have to call one of the kids in, but then it said possession, and I don't own my children. They are sovereign individuals that own themselves. They belong with me, not to me. So there's that.
It's okay that I thought about calling Tina. At first, that was my first.
Well, that's
thought.
different. She's your wife. She is your possession, in equal as much as you are her husband. You are her possession. She owns you, and you own her.
My most treasured. Zadie says she was gonna say me.
Yeah, see, and it's true, and that's how it's supposed to work. Is it's supposed to be an equal ownership where if I treat you bad, you're going to treat me bad because I own you and you own me, and we're both going to be miserable. But if I treat you well and with respect, then hopefully you'll do the same.
I don't know what my most treasured possession is. I've got. So you can't. Again, we need to specify like thing, not creature. Because a dog you do own, but you don't own at the same time. Similar.
Well, you do because it's not a sovereign individual. It's a gray area, walking the line between the two.
I don't think I could choose a single possession, hence why my desk looks like a cluttered mess behind me of all my favorite things. I mean,
right?
I've got stuff from Africa that I love. I've got movie posters. I've got Build-A-Bears and things, and of course RuneForge the second and RuneForge the first, both my computers. I mean, I can't really think of like my favorite possession. I try not to. I know this is cliche, but I try not to get too attached to possessions. If the house was to burn down, I can't think of a single thing I would grab as I was running out.
If we're going to define this, treasure doesn't have to mean valuable.
Right, of course not.
Right. Okay. So,
I would think it's that book your mom got you. I wouldn't grab you, Zadie, as I ran out the house. You can run out the house too.
this is a painting of an old man in a boat with a little girl.
Okay.
Well, it's a print of a painting of an old man in a boat with a little girl.
Okay.
And it says, I don't know, Ren something, and then 81. I don't know if that means 1881 or 1981 or. Anyway, so when my mother married her third husband, her husband after my father, I was three, and my great grandmother brought this to the wedding to give to me, so I wouldn't feel left out while they were opening wedding presents. And I have kept this and treasured it.
Yeah. There's
It's that
definitely some emotional
touch point
yeah.
to my history and to my great grandmother, who is no longer with us. And we always had a special relationship, you know. And so yeah, that would be it.
For me, some of the most emotional stuff that's in this room. Up there is a eagle and an angel that you can only partially see right about here. That my great grandmother painted, and then the eagle is here. um, and those are pretty
I see
important
the
to
eagle.
me.
Yeah.
That's
But
why that.
yes, the Lungborough book that my mother got me,
There's a
that
lot
I
of.
check on the value of from time to time, is definitely a close second.
Yeah.
Not necessarily because of the value, but because it has value.
Yeah. She worked to get that for you.
Yeah.
And by worked, I don't mean she went to a job. She had to find it.
She had to find it. There's only,
Just
I don't know, 10 copies left in the world or something. That they, you found that quick, Pastor Bill. What did I find quick?
the picture.
Well, yeah, it's up on top of my bed, on top of my headboard. It's literally displayed in my bedroom. So I didn't have to find it. I knew where it was. Anyway, that was mine. So, okay.
Tonight,
It's me.
we're going to talk about.
We're going to talk about Luke. Sort of. Because we like to talk in confirmed details
Typically, yes.
on the Berean Manifesto. We like to bring you hard truths, and not necessarily always, hard to take, but, verified truths that we can actually bank on, that we can take home, that we can grow our faith with and share with people and go, hey, look at this awesome thing, and Luke is none of that.
Nope.
And Pastor News and I learned that over the last week. When early in the week, Nooms asked me, what you doing? And I said, well, I'm studying up on Luke for this Sunday night because we're going to talk about Luke. Now ask me, why are we talking about Luke? Pastor Nooms,
Why are we talking about Luke?
No clue.
Yeah.
And I pray and I listen to what I feel like the Holy Spirit is saying we need to talk about, and that's the direction we go.
So, going into it, I knew, certain things. He's the person who...
I thought I knew certain things.
Right. This is how I went into it, is
Yeah.
I knew, quote unquote,
Yeah.
He's the person who wrote Luke. He's the person who traveled with Paul. Peter? Paul? Paul, yeah, okay. I said it
But
and I
not
second
under
guessed
the name
myself.
Luke.
Huh?
But not under the name Luke.
Right, not under the name Luke. And he was one of the people who compiled certain of Paul's texts. And that what I believed was that he was a Gentile physician.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I went into the week with when I started looking and studying. He's not talked about a lot in Scripture itself. Very, very little, actually, is talked about him in Scripture. But as now Bill continues, there's a lot of argument on
Yeah.
everything.
Everything we both went into the week thinking, I know this about Luke,
Yeah.
is not verified. Not verified, is under debate, is questioned. Does Luke exist? We don't know. Is he a Gentile or a Jew? We don't know. Was he a physician or a rich man? We don't know. Did he write the book of Luke? We don't know. Did he write the book of Acts? We don't know. Did he travel with Paul? We don't know. What do we know? We know someone who has a name that's similar to the name Luke, was a friend of Paul. We know that person lived with Paul around the same time that Mark lived with Paul when Mark was writing Mark's gospel. Do we know if that's the same person that wrote the book of Luke? No. The book of Luke is even anonymous. It doesn't say in the beginning, I, Luke, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't say that. Like, other books will say, the account of Luke, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And then...
Even the beginning is ambiguous.
Ambiguous. And the book of Acts is the same way.
Yeah.
All we know about the author of the book of Acts is that it's the person who wrote the gospel that we attribute to Luke.
Yep.
Without actually having any evidence that Luke wrote it. Actually, the idea that Luke even wrote it, turns out, didn't even occur to anyone until 200 to 300 AD. About 100 years after it was written, people attributed it to as having been written by a man named Luke. So it's all very, very interesting. But one of the things that I found, one of the debates they have that I found the most interesting is who the book of Luke and the book of Acts are written to.
Mm-hmm.
Theophilus. Who is Theophilus? Well, historically, there is a Theophilus who took part in the crucifixion of Jesus, wherein he was the the son of Caiaphas, the high priest. One of the sons of the high priest Caiaphas. Meaning, when all of that was going down and they were in those houses, he was most likely there. He was part of the proceedings that went on. It might have been that Theophilus. There was a Roman soldier of heavy influence who had the name Theophilus. And then there's this thought that because the name Theophilus means lover of God, or loved by God, or friend of God, that the book of Luke and the book of Acts is literally written to anyone who is a follower of the way. Anyone who loves God, anyone who loves God and is loved by God, anyone who is a Christian. And I thought that was really interesting, that because that would make it the only books that are actually written to us. Because every other book, I'm writing this to these guys, I'm writing this to these guys, and we use them as examples.
Right.
Examples.
Or I'm just writing down my story.
Right.
In the case of some of the gospel.
But that would mean that Luke and Acts were specifically written down for us as the audience. If that is the case. And that's who this Theophilus is. But it's so striking that we know so little about Luke. And what we do know, we're not even sure that's who this is.
Right. It is very interesting that we have a person who's that prominent in the thought processes, and so many of us are like, oh yeah, I know who Luke is, and then you know who Luke is based on what you were taught the
Right.
majority of the time, and then you get into the discussion of, oh well, I was taught something completely different, that he's Jewish, or I was taught that he wasn't a physician, he was just referred to as a physician in one place, and so that could mean healer, it could mean prophet, it could mean it could mean multiple things, and you're like, oh,
Right.
oh. um so it is very interesting, um and the perspective
Oh,
that the two books that we do attribute to him, um definitely have very interesting perspectives that are different than the other gospels, or different than other books. Um, what you looking at?
Colossians 4:14.
Okay.
I can actually type it in myself this time. In Colossians 4:14, that's where we get this idea that Luke is a physician, like you were talking
Mm-hmm.
about, and it's Paul writing, and he says, "Luke, the dearly loved physician, and Demas send you greetings," because Luke and Demas were with him.
Mm-hmm.
Let's look up that verse in the original and see what we come up with.
So physician comes from the Greek word iatros,
Mm-hmm.
which literally just is physician.
Right.
I had taken it
But
differently at
that
one
word
point.
comes from
That word
the word
comes from,
omai, which means to cure or heal.
yeah,
So he could have been a healer, someone who laid the hands on of.
yep, heal or make whole,
Yeah,
literally or figuratively.
maybe he was a psychologist.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely interesting when we look
And
at.
we assume that it's the word Luke in the English, but the word there was Lucas, which was okay. So interesting path of translation. The the Latin New Testament is the the best manuscripts we have, and then we translate those back into Greek, and then from Greek into English, it's a whole thing. But the Latin is Lucanus there, which could mean Lucas, could mean Luke, could mean lots of different L names. And we assume in our translations that Paul is then there talking about Luke. And we make that assumption based off the fact that 100 years after things were written, someone assumed that this gospel was written by Luke. Um, and then so we translate this passage to say Luke based off of that assumption. So it's this whole thing, like talk about a rabbit hole,
Yeah,
deeper and deeper and deeper.
and it's one of those where, and we've talked about this before, it's one of those things where it's, people will point to this and say things like, well, since we don't know, we just need to throw it out. Or since we don't know, it needs to be not looked at.
But it's okay to not know.
Right.
Just let it sit.
And that's that
sit
whole
with it.
faith aspect. If we had proof
Yeah.
of everything, if we knew everything from a concrete standpoint,
Then it wouldn't be faith.
it wouldn't be faith. We wouldn't have the faith.
Yep.
We could possibly find the hope and the love, but we definitely wouldn't find faith if we didn't have something to have faith in.
Without faith, it's impossible to please God.
Right.
And what pleases God? We talked about this before. That none should perish.
Yep.
You not perishing pleases God. Without faith, you cannot please God, because without faith, you would perish.
Yep.
Not because God said you would perish, because reality said you would perish.
Well, without faith, your life becomes very, very complicated. If you don't have faith in the little things of life, you're not going to eat. It
is impossible to live without faith. It really is.
Yeah.
And I don't mean faith just in a divine.
No.
We're talking about faith as a basic element of your everyday life. You sit down in a chair, you eat food, you turn on a light switch, and all of these things are you exercising faith that expected outcomes will happen.
And, so I always, when it comes to some of these kind of things, I was watching some stuff on deconstruction this week because it came across my feed. And
Sorry, that was my fault.
was it?
Yes.
Did you send it to me?
I send you videos, and then you watch videos, and the algorithm goes, "Oh, he must want more of these videos." And
Oh, well, I mean,
then your 4 page gets infected.
Well, I mean, the deconstruction movement, we have friends that have been pushing it and doing it for a while, and some of the people that Zadie follows have gone through it. So it's definitely not just that aspect, but you probably do play a part in that. But he was saying, well, here's the 2 verses that made me start deconstructing. And that's these 2 verses.
I don't like that video.
Yeah, because I sent it to you just so you would know what I was talking about.
Yeah. But the reason I don't like it is not because of the verses. It's because he spends the first half of the video giving you a resume as to why you should care about what he has to say. I'm like, say it and then give me the resume. Just reverse your whole order and then I'll care. Go ahead, sorry.
No, you're fine. But that aspect of, okay, well, these 2 verses, and they don't line up, and then when I started digging into it, and then he gave examples of, I was digging into it and found this, this, and this, and it's like,
yeah,
well, no, those aren't right anyway, but that's beside the point. The point is those 2 verses line up a whole lot better than a lot of other stuff. Like, there's so many,
right.
But it's that hook of, if you don't have faith in the little things, because there are some things that just they're hiccups, and it's a person writing God's, what God is breathing to them. It's inspired, so it's still coming
because
through.
It's going to drive people crazy that you didn't tell them. The 2 specific instances that are talked about in the video are when David numbered the people. And in one account in Samuel, or 2 Samuel, in one of the Samuels, it says that, well, I can't remember if it's the 2 Samuel or the Chronicles. In one of them it says that God, incited David to count and then punished him for it. And the other one, it says that Satan incited David to count and then punished him for it. And honestly, like he said, it's 2 different people writing from 2 different perspectives. And the main thing that this guy found, he was talking to a Jewish person, and they said, well, in our faith, we don't really see the difference. When God does something evil, we call it Satan. When God does something good, we call it God. Except from our point of view, from the Christian point of view, from the, Judeo-Christian point of view, Satan's a tool. And
in both ways.
Saying Yeah, in both ways. So saying God did it or saying Satan used, or saying God used Satan to do it, it's the same statement. Satan did it, God did it. Well, if God used Satan as a tool to do it,
Yeah.
because David needed to be judged for something else, but God was humbling him, it's all the same thing. It's all the same statement. It's
Yeah.
not a contradiction.
Yeah, and that's where that aspect of finding contradictions because you're looking for them.
Yeah.
And like we've talked about with deconstruction, I'd rather you deconstruct now
Mm-hmm.
and have time to find God again later, or for the first time truly later, depending on your specific beliefs. But
And as a practicing and believing Christian, that's key point number one.
yeah,
Number two, I love you. I don't want you to be miserable.
no,
If you're miserable, stop being miserable. If you if the religion that you've been following and been taught has made you miserable, fix it.
yeah, and
Rhett from Rhett and Link. Um,
what?
in ear Rhett and Link. You know Rhett and Link from Good Mythical Morning,
Oh, okay, yes,
comedy duo.
yes.
So they have a podcast where they talk about stuff
Mm-hmm.
that's deeper, that is more real to life, that is, you know, da 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 da. And in one of their episodes, what is the name of that? Sorry, I gotta find the name of that podcast so I can tell you the name of the podcast and tell you the episode. I have it here somewhere. So they both were missionaries, Rhett and Link at one point, and they've both deconstructed about 7 years ago. And Rhett was just miserable, as a believer, as you know, the kind of faith that he was following. He was miserable. And it's called Ear Biscuits is the name of the podcast. And it's episode 226. He lists off the questions that he struggled with that were making him miserable in his religious faith. And he lists them off, and it's just this deep, like, this was hurting me. And, you know, I didn't want to hurt anymore. And as a person of compassion, as a person of love, as a believer, I look at that and I go, yeah, I don't want you to hurt anymore either, man.
Yeah.
Let's get you to a healthy place. And if that healthy place doesn't look like the American church, so be it. You know, like you only live one life, and then you've got eternity. Let's do both. Let's live life for the life and have the hope for the future at the same time. And if the living the life has been infected and corrupted and is making you miserable, let's change the life. Let's change the life part.
Yeah, there's so often that modern religion, and I don't just mean Christianity. I mean across the board. Religion in some forms has been taken to be used as control by people in power and used as a way to oppress people, as opposed to what religion is supposed to be, which is a relationship with something. In our case, the relationship with God, that we build on.
But
Not
religions in their infancy are, this is an explanation of our belief system. And then the next guy,
It's always the next guy.
always the next guy, comes
Always the
along
next guy.
and goes, whoa, 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 whoa. Those aren't just beliefs. These are dogmas. You can't violate the dogma. You must XYZ.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the first guy's rolling over in his grave over and over and over again, going, "That's not what I intended at all."
And
Ever.
sometimes not even before they get to their grave.
Sometimes not even before they get to the grave. Yeah, yeah.
One of my favorite things I've always heard, I don't even know if it's accurate, but that Charles Marx on his deathbed said, "I'm not a Marxist."
I've heard that as well. I don't know if that's true.
Because where it was by the time he died was not his original beliefs. Um,
Yeah, I've heard the same thing about Charles Darwin denouncing the theory of evolution on his deathbed. I've heard,
well,
and you
no,
don't know if those things are true or not.
actually, no. That one we do know. Charles Darwin in his original papers wrote, isn't I'm gonna misquote. I'm not quoting. I'm implying the sentence. Isn't our Creator amazing that He created these birds to be able to evolve to what they needed to be for their situations? And that was his. He was a devout Catholic, and that was his thought. Is yes, evolution is there, but evolution was given to us from the Creator.
But not the theory of evolution. The
Right.
theory of evolution says that one kind of being can change into another kind of being over time, which isn't what Darwin was saying at all. Darwin was saying within their own kinds, they can adapt and change and meet new environmental needs, and evolve and grow in that manner. And then the next guy.
Yeah. It's always the next guy.
What are you looking up? You looking up the Karl Marx thing?
Yeah. What he actually said was, "What is certain is that if they are Marxists, then I myself am not a Marxist." So, if it was reported by Frederick Ingetz, the exchange happened towards the end of his life in an interview. And
I know that name. How do I know that name?
Um, and it was in the fact that he disagreed with the French Workers' Party, that called themselves Marxists. Now, that of course is not me condoning or signing off on the rest of Karl Marx's belief. That is me simply saying that as an example of the next guy, because Karl Marx had plenty of other things that he had issues with. So, anyway, Luke.
Yeah, we don't know anything about Luke.
Yeah.
That is one killer mustache, man. There's a picture of him on Wikipedia.
Yes, there is.
In a tweed suit, a thin bow tie, and a massive mustache. He was a communist.
Yes, he was.
That name. I don't know why I know that name.
Don't know, my
That's
friend.
okay, though. Oh, that might be it. The Origin of the Family, Private Property, and the State, written in 1884. Yes, that is why I know that name. Because of that work.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things when we look at history and we look at our past, there are going to be gray areas, and that's okay. Um, as long as we continue to treat people the way they should be treated and in a biblical manner, as opposed to what some people have turned Christianity into.
Well, let's rephrase that just a tiny bit,
Okay.
because we want to speak. We're speaking to a culture when we release things, and so let's not say treat people in a biblical way, because there are times when Moses says, "God wants us to go kill them because they're not." Okay, and that's in the Bible. Let's let's treat them in a way that Jesus would. Let's treat them in a New Testament way.
Yeah, and that's something that's again one of those things that has caused a lot of people to deconstruct over time is those types of Old Testament references to specific people groups and specific situations, and people use them as blanket statements. And so yes, you are correct, we should not do that because almost never
Not because
would those
I didn't
apply.
understand what you meant,
I know. You are correct though.
but I want to make sure that when people are coming across what we're saying and what we're doing, that they understand what you're saying. Because as a culture, the evangelical culture, the Protestant culture, we all have these our own shorthand, our own, well, I meant this. Well, how am I supposed to know that if I don't know the history of blah, 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 blah? How am I supposed to know your Christianese, your little language that you've got going on? So we need to try to say things that are more specific and less shorthand.
And that are different from group to group and person to person.
Right. It's like what we were talking about earlier with the issue of the word Indian.
Yes.
And Indian is someone from India, right? And then we've got American Indians,
which is just
who
gross.
some of the people who are native want to be called, and then we've got Indian Americans who are people who have immigrated to the Americas from India, and then we've got and you used the term Native American, and I went, well, isn't that anyone who's ever been born from the tip of Canada to the southern tip of South America? That are we all Native Americans because we're born in the Americas? And it depends on from person to person, tribe to tribe. And I mean tribe in the way that it is defined in the Constitution. A sovereign state of people. That's how I mean that. I don't mean that. I know that's been used. Tribe has been used as a weapon in the last 100 years to demean. I don't mean that. I literally mean a sovereign people. It varies on what people want to be called. And so, like Paul said, I become all things to all people. I just want to bear in mind, when we use language, we need to use the language of the people that is our intended audience. So,
which is why we should always be respectful of people's desires of what to be called when it comes to people groups or identities or other
pronouns
things.
even.
Yes.
Yeah. If someone says they want to be called a certain pronoun, use it. It doesn't matter if you understand it or agree with it, or can wrap your head around it or think it's right. That doesn't matter. What matters is respect and love. Period. All right. So this podcast comes out every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, anywhere that you get podcasts.
Anyway.
And also we do record this live on Sunday nights at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. And then also you can join us on our Discord server and watch it there as well. We have a channel here called Berean Live where you can join the channel and see our lovely faces in a less... what's the word?
Produced?
Produced manner. Yeah, produced less produced manner. I mean, Pastor Newman still has a name placard, but that's okay. That's because he's using his virtual camera that's then being sent through OBS, and it's a whole thing.
It's just because I'm cooler than you.
It's just, yeah, he's cooler than me, using his little name placard, but that's okay.
My font's better than yours too.
Your font is better than mine too. Come join us on Sunday nights. We'd love to hear from you. You can join into the chat with your tappity, in whichever of the platforms. You know what? I never know what to call it, because if I say chat, we're chatting right now, audio, but chatting is also texting, and right. So okay, so come join us on Sunday night, and we'd love to have you participate, and say things like, I don't understand that, or I've been taught different, or I think your hot take is not so hot. I think you're wrong, and this is why. And we'd love to have you participate, because we could probably talk the whole hour, but it would be a lot more interesting if we had feedback. All right, so it's 7:26, and we usually go a whole hour, but we don't have to go a whole hour. Do you have something you wanted to add to fill in the last 4 minutes, Pastor Nooms?
That's all I got.
Oh, okay, so for those of you listening, he simply puckered his lips off to one side and wiggled his nose, causing his mustache to do a little dance as he then moved his jaw side to side, and it was quite terse with anticipation of something that never came. It was quite anticlimactic. And with that, I hope you guys have a great week, and
be safe out there, guys. Love you guys.
And until next time.
And now, for our people that are live,
what?
We have to do a 30-second buffer.
Do we?
So, Bill's gonna sing a little song, and then I'm gonna join him during the second verse. Go!
30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. 30-second buffer. Has it been 30 seconds yet? No, that's not how time works. 30-second
Kaiju's
buffer.
joining in.
30-second buffer.
30-second buffer.
All right, that's plenty of time.
All right, bye. Did you hear Kaiju joining in there?
I heard Kaiju joining in. That was fun.
I didn't know she was even in my office.